My name is Julia Wilson. It's JuliaWilson, and I'm the Dean of the Scripps Howard School of Journalism and Communications.
All right, and how long have you been the Dean of the Scripps?
I've only been here 4 years. I was appointed Dean in January of 2022, and we've made a lot of changes. I came in with a global vision for the school, and we've implemented quite a bit of it.
Right, that's remarkable. So I want to give you the space to kind of, again, process what happened on Saturday. So whatever you're most comfortable sharing, I am most comfortable with receiving. But, most journalists know about the White House Correspondents Dinner as a really honorable event, a time for journalists, American leaders, members of the media to really come together to honor what we do on a daily basis when it comes to the journalism industry. So I want to start off by asking you, before the circumstances arose on Saturday, I know you traveled with two students. What was your overall impression of this year's White House Correspondents Dinner going in and traveling with two of your own students in the J School?
Well, thank you for that question. First of all, we didn't quite travel together. They went 2 days before me because they had meetings with other students at other universities, because they went through like a tour of the White House and a tour of DC with that group. And then I drove there from here. It's about a 3-hour drive, so it wasn't so bad. And the focus was really on honoring and celebrating the students. These two students are two of our finest. They are co-producers of our WHOV TV. They produce newscasts every Thursday night, 30-minute newscasts, and they talk about all the things that are happening around campus and outside of campus. And that's really important for us, is that our students get off campus and get hands-on experience in the community. So they were there to be honored. They received a $12,000 scholarship from the White House Correspondents Association. I've been nurturing that relationship since I've been here, quite a few years. And the first year we had 1 student and 1 scholarship. Now we have 2 students and 2 scholarships, so I'm very happy about that. This is my 3rd White House Correspondents Association dinner since I've been here, but I started going back in 2018. I owned a business in Washington, an international public affairs consultancy, and I represented the first Black woman reporter at the Washington Post, and that's when we went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner brunch. They used to have a brunch the next day after the dinner. So in renewing relationships and nurturing that relationship since I've been here, I was able to get the scholarship and arrange a partnership with the association.
Was it a surprise to you that President Donald Trump was attending this year's White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Well, I think most journalists and most everybody attending were surprised, and we didn't know what to expect, of course. Some people speculated that and wondered whether or not he'd show up. But yes, we were surprised, and I think excited to see what the program was going to be about. We always remain very positive and honor whatever anybody does on either side of the aisle. And so we want to make sure that he had the opportunity to do what he was going to do on the program. So, yeah.
Thank you. If you can take us into that moment when you realized, or if an announcement had came on the intercom, or however those in attendance were able to realize that there was the possibility of a gunman in the room with you guys, what immediately went through your mind, and how were you guys even notified that such a danger was right in the very space you guys were?
I was notified when I heard gunshots 2 feet away from me. So the students were in a different position. They were towards the stage. They were sitting with other students because they were going to be honored. And so you had the dais with the president, first lady, and the vice president sitting on the dais, and then just to their left, kind of elevated, was a table of the students that would be honored. I was sitting towards the back on the main floor, about 4 feet from the door where we checked in for the, what do you call it, the media, oh, what is it? So, hold on for a minute.
No.
What's that machine called? Thank you very much. Where the we had to go through a magnetometer to enter the ballroom. So the magnetometer and the security was set up right outside the ballroom door. And so I was seated right down the 3 steps near the pathway where everybody walked to the stage. So there's one table here and then my table. And there were cameras, of course, right above us with their focus on the stage. Now, just to take you back a little bit, we were all so excited to be there. We were all dressed up in our pretty gowns and everything. We had taken pictures in front of the Step and Repeat with the logo of the White House Correspondents Dinner on it, and we were just so excited. The students were just elated. I mean, they were ecstatic. So once we're inside and we had finished our salad, and they had wine on the table, and everybody was anticipating the program started, they had brought in the president and all the dignitaries, and the band had played, we had done the national anthem, and then we were just sitting there. I was sitting next to a journalist, a TV journalist from Japan, and the rest of my table was from the Daily Beast news outlet, and I had talked earlier with the executive editor about partnering with my school here at Hampton University, because that's what I do, is make partnerships with different companies so that our students can get hands-on experiences. Instead of just learning everything in a book, they can actually marry that knowledge with what's happening in the real world. So that's where we were, all relaxed and everything. And then I heard bam, 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 bam. And I turned around because it was so close, and I knew what it was because I started taking lessons back in December on how to use a firearm. And when we'd go to the shooting range in Virginia Beach, I'd heard that loud sound before. And then 2 minutes later, the door bursts open and in comes long guns 2 feet away from me. Well, I'm thinking, I don't know who's carrying those guns. I don't know if it's bad guys getting ready to shoot all the journalists in the room or if it's somebody else. I don't know who it is. So my first thought, hit the floor. And that's what I did. I got under the table, I stayed there, and everybody else got under the table with me, and I prayed. I said, I don't want to go out like this. And I played dead, basically, because I've read that many survivors play dead, and then when the gunmen are gone, they are survivors. I could hear rustling, like people jumping on tables and moving things, but I couldn't see what was going on. When I got up from the table, I looked around. Many journalists were using their phones to take video, and some were doing reports live. And then I thought, first thought, students, where are my students? What's happening? So I started calling and texting them, no answer. So I said, I have to go find the students. So I went out in 2,000 people, right? And I'm looking for the students, and finally I did find them up near the stage. One of them had run out of the room in the back door, and the other one had gone under the table, but they were fine. I took a picture to send back to my provost to show them that they were fine. Mm-hmm.
How long the span was between the moment you heard the shots fired from when you dropped to the table, and how long did you stay under that table until it was clear? How long did it feel like to you, maybe compared to what it actually was?
Of course, it felt like forever. It probably was only about 5 to 7 minutes that I stayed under the table. But from the moment I heard the gunfire, and I turned around, must have been a few seconds, because somebody was bursting in the door with long guns. When I saw the gun, that's when I hit. It didn't take me a half a second to hit the floor. Let's go there.
Thank you, Dean. And my next question for you is, as a reporter, when we covered these tragic circumstances, and my first instinct obviously was to be here to speak with you today, to hear about the story, but again, the importance of giving, you and of course the students the opportunity to really process, and knowing that events like this can really linger. What has really stayed with you since that night? I mean, it's Tuesday, and this happened on Saturday, and speaking with Mahogany, I really wanted to reiterate that ethically speaking and morally speaking, it's my job as a reporter to share stories, but obviously give people that we're interviewing the space to feel comfortable enough to share the stories. And as a dean, someone that leads a journalism school in such a dire situation, I know you probably teach your students about the aftermath of events as such in covering them, but you guys weren't there to cover, you guys were there to honor and to celebrate. So since Saturday, what has really stuck with you, and perhaps in conversations with that student, whether that's positive or negative, about how you guys have really been able to process in the past few days?
Well, it's been a challenge, I must say, in terms of processing the emotions, and we're all physically fine, but we do teach our students about situational awareness. When you go into any room and you're thinking like a reporter, you're looking around you to make sure who's there, where the exits are, just in case something goes wrong, to stay safe, but to also be aware of what's happening. So sometimes it's not just reporting the news, sometimes it's knowing how to navigate within the news. And this came to us as news, and so we had to still operate with integrity, with truth and fact as we saw it, reporting what we saw as a part of this historic event, first of all, and then what turned into a nightmare at the end. So we have taught our students about that, crisis communications we teach at the school. We teach our students how to be excellent reporters. The students weren't the only ones disappointed, because there were journalists, professional journalists, who would be awarded that night also. And so they did not receive their cash awards that night. I happened to be the chair of the judging committee for the Aldo Beckman Award, and these are the journalists who covered the White House, the presidency, and the administration in 2025. So our judging team was able to choose our winner. I won't say who it is because I think it's a surprise to everybody, but the importance of being a journalist, a professional journalist, is that you are able to switch gears and turn on your reporter hat instantaneously, no matter what's going on. And that's what our students are learning to become. They're learning to become real professional journalists. So the journalists like Caitlin Collin and Kirsten Welkin, who were doing stand-ups right in the middle of a chaotic moment, and everybody was all settled at first, and then all of a sudden things turned. And as I said, some reporters were crying and upset, some journalists and other people in the room, and then some just turned on their cell phones and started recording. Some were even recording from underneath the table. So here they are hiding from people, yet they've got an arm stretched out recording something they couldn't see. They just wanted to know what was going on in the room. So many trained reporters do that. I mean, I covered Nelson Mandela's presidency, his inauguration and election in South Africa. And I was the first reporter on the scene of the bombing of the ANC headquarters in Joburg. And speaking of loud sounds, and I'm still a little shaken by loud sounds. But that gave me the initial experience, because I was the first journalist inside the scene where dead bodies were everywhere and trying to find people to interview. And they assumed there was another bomb inside the perimeter, and they had gated off the whole perimeter with wires. And there were 2 policemen standing outside, and I'm trying to get my camera crew out. And I said, we have to get out of here. And they said, nobody in and nobody out. So I ended up having our guys turn the camera on them and say, could you repeat that, please? Because this is going to air over CNN, and we've got to get out of here. So I did have some experience there as well. I stayed in Johannesburg for almost 5 years. And there were other stories and many other things, but I started a business there, and that's the business that I brought back to America. But I think our students will become stronger from this, because it is a teaching moment. And we will continue to teach our students to maintain their professionalism, integrity, to learn skills that are excellent. Sometimes it's not what you know, but who you know, but also you've got to have the skills to stay. And so we will move forward together and go through this. We will get through this, and with the support of our university. And I'm looking forward to actually turning this into a case study for our faculty to use, and just moving forward. I have worked in 13 countries on 4 continents before I came here, and will continue that expansion to share that information and knowledge with our students and make partnerships within this community. I just want to add that I did meet with some business people in the Hampton Roads community and throughout the state to talk about partnerships here with Hampton University School of Journalism and Communications. And we hope that they will continue to support us, that we will grow our partnerships, and that students will be able to benefit from that support. So thank you very much for having me.
No, thank you so much, Dean Wilson. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Awesome.